Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Lohansh. Let me introduce myself before we get started into API testing and automation side. Okay, so I am Lohansh. I have 13 plus years of experience on software automation testing and also training side. Okay, so I give training on multiple areas like Selenium, API testing, performance testing. So these are the three main areas I'll be giving you the trainings. Okay. So that's all about me at high level. So can we get started about API testing side? Anybody has any questions? So I hope everyone can see my screen now. Okay, great. All right, guys, we will get started with the API testing part. API testing. So let's get started with API testing. Okay. So before we go with what is API testing, first of all, let's know what is API. So does anybody knows what is API? So whoever already working on software might have already known about what is an API. So maybe somebody can share if you have some, if you know something about API. Anybody knows? Nobody? Okay, no problem. Guys, I just want to have this session more interactive so that out of this session you should know or should learn something. That is what my main intention is. Okay, so feel free to unmute yourself, talk whatever you know, no problem. Okay, so as I said, so before we go for API testing, let's know what is an API. So what is API? Okay. So to understand about this API, first of all, let me come up with some example. Based on that example, I will explain you about the API so that it will be easy for you to understand. Okay. So how many of you are traveling through the bus? Let's say if you wanted to go to your native place, so you will be traveling through the bus, right? So I think most of us will be booking the bus. Okay, so can you guys tell me where do you book your bus? Come on, guys, unmute yourself. Please keep talking. Sorry, Ravi, your voice is very low. Can you be a bit louder?
Book my show or any like IRTC.
IRCTC, yes, IRCTC or book my bus, something. So some
Yeah, book my show.
okay, book my show is one
And
another.
Paytm also is there.
Paytm also is there. So okay,
Like
now
Red Bus, Abibus, like that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a Red Bus, Abibus, like the booking websites are like.
Right, Red Bus, Abibus, IRCTC, let's say Paytm, okay, etc. Right. So there are many other apps or applications where we can book tickets of the bus and then we can confirm that ticket is booked and we can go ahead and travel. Okay, so that is what we know. Okay, nowadays we have all these apps, so now we can book the ticket through these apps, and we can have a pleasant journey. Okay, with before these apps, how do we book the bus? Let's say maybe a few years back, all these apps are not there. So what we do? So there are some agents, there are some uh, you know uh, locations where we can go and book the ticket by paying the cash and they will give us some receipt and so on, right? So that is a manual process. So now all these things have been automated, right, by some different companies, different applications. Okay, so now let's take some of these, any one of these websites. Let's say somebody told like they will book their bus through Redbus or maybe Abibus, IRCTC or Paytm or whatever. Okay, let me take Redbus. So if I take Redbus, if I am going to talk about Redbus, okay, so Redbus, what I'll do, I'll just go to Google. Okay, I'll just say Redbus. Okay, whenever I go to the website of Redbus, okay, so I can book the bus from where to where, right? Let's say I wanted to travel from Hyderabad to Bangalore today, for example. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just click on search buses. So what does this Redbus guys will do? They will try to get me all the list of buses available. See, there are a lot of buses available, which will travel from Hyderabad to Bangalore. Okay, KSM Roadways is the name of the bus. Ramana Tours and Travels, VSR Tours and Travels. Okay, so like that, there are different bus companies are there. Sri Krishna, right? VRCR. There are a lot of buses are there. Jabbar and so on. Okay, so these are from different bus companies, and all these bus companies has, I mean, Redbus is showing, and through Redbus we are booking the ticket and we are confirming to that particular vendor. Okay, so how is that possible? How is that possible? How does the Redbus coordinate with different bus companies, bus owners to know how many seats available at this moment, at what time the bus starts, what time bus ends, what is the rating of the bus, okay, what is the bus fare for so and so ticket, whether it is an AC, what is the ticket, non-AC, what is the ticket, how many seats are available right now, and what are the facilities that bus will give, whether do we have a TV, are they going to provide a food for us, water bottle, or whatever different options every bus will be giving, facilities every bus will be giving. How does the red bus know? Anybody knows the answer? How does the red bus know all this information? Can anybody guess? Keep talking and keep guessing. This is very important, right? Even though your answer is wrong, no problem, but I want you guys to guess it.
Yeah, through the backend calls and we have payment gateways also.
Right? Backend calls is correct. Yes. Any other answer, guys? Any answers? Any other answer? Okay, let me explain. Okay, so how does this Redbus get this data? Is through APIs. How? What? How the API will get us this information? We have to know, right? Okay, so to understanding about that, let me draw this diagram. Okay, so in general, let's assume guys, so we are right now, we are working with something called Redbus. Okay, so this is Redbus. So what we will do, we will just go to our browser or maybe our mobile, we'll just type http /redbus.in or .com, whatever it is. Okay, so as soon as we write, so we send the request, so we are able to see the Redbus applications open. So we enter from to Hyderabad to Bangalore and we hit search. So request went and we get the response. And as part of response, right, we see there are a lot of buses available which travels from Hyderabad to Bangalore on 26th November Sunday. Right, so there are a lot of buses available. Okay, so and all of these buses are from different bus owners, different bus companies, right? So let me see within this array, I'm able to see Orange Tours and Travels or not. I don't see Orange. Okay, let's take any other bus. For example, Let me pick, let's say Sri Krishna. Okay, so does everybody knows Sri Krishna Tours and Travels or Sri Krishna Travels? This is one of the bus owner or bus company which where they have a lot of buses travel across India. Okay, so even this Sri Krishna Travels also has their own website, their own website. So what happens here is, let me explain you. So Sri Krishna also will be having something, right? So they will be having their own website. Okay, so just assume that so this is Sri Krishna. This is Sri Krishna website, right? Like, however, we are able to access redbus.in. We can also access Sri Krishna, right? So if I search Sri Krishna Travels, right? See, we are able to see www.srikrishnatravels.com. This is their website, right? So once I go here, even here I'm able to, even I can also search from same, right? Let's say Hyderabad to Bangalore. Hyderabad to Bangalore. So 26th 11. So I click on search. So once I click on search, right, I'm able to see there are some set of around 2, 3, 4, around 5, 6 buses are there. Okay, so the same bus, whatever we see on Sri Krishna Travels, same bus we can see here as well. Okay, so what we have, why, how they are sharing the information, how they are sharing. So how Sri Krishna people is sharing the information to Redbus is through API. What is that API? Let's understand. Let's say this is https://www.srikrishnatravels.com. So this is their website, right? So customer can either book the ticket either from the Sri Krishna Travels website or mobile app or maybe Redbus. But Redbus is more popular, so most of us will directly go to Redbus and we will try to book the ticket from Redbus. Okay, so what Sri Krishna Travels website, in the back end they have something, right? In the back end they have some logic. Okay, so this is the logic. Okay, so where this APIs will be exposed. Sri Krishna APIs. So just for understanding purpose, I'm just writing it as Sri Krishna APIs. And this APIs in the backend will be talking, right? Will be talking to Sri Krishna backend, right? So this is what we can call it as backend, right? So Sri Krishna backend means this will process your request exactly. Okay, and the complete data or information will be stored somewhere called database. So maybe this is how the database might look like. Right, this is the database where the complete info about the bus. It can be any bus, how many buses that Sri Krishna have. That complete info will be stored in the DB. Sri Krishna DB. So I'm just writing it as database. Okay. So now, so I hope everybody knows about a database. So what is database? So database contains the data or information. Okay. So how many buses that Sri Krishna maintain? What time that bus starts from Hyderabad to Bangalore or from one city to another city? Every bus details, everything will be stored over here in the database. So database contains the latest information, right? Which bus is starting from one place to another place, how many hours it takes, what are the facilities that bus will be providing, whether it is a AC bus or non-AC bus, whether it is a sleeper or seater. That complete info will be stored in the database. Okay, so let's say I wanted to know particularly about one particular bus. Okay, AC bus. Which seats are available? Because as an end user, I have to pick the seat, right? So whether front seat or back seat or middle seat, what is the price per seat, and all that data or info will be in the database. So I will send the request to know about the details. So I will get the response, and that response will be processed. This response will be created or generated by the backend, and that backend will send it to the APIs. And this API will send the information to the website. Website means it can be a browser or it can be a mobile. So this complete communication happens between database, backend, APIs, and then the website. And as Redbus is also dealing with Sri Krishna Travels, so what does they will do? This Redbus website also will talk to Sri Krishna APIs. Okay, so why both of these sites should talk to one API? Because this API will talk to backend, and backend will get the latest data requested by either the Sri Krishna website or maybe the Redbus, or it can be Abibus also, right? As some of you guys told, some of you guys will be using Abibus. Yes, it can be Abibus, it can be Redbus, or it can be any bus or Paytm, anything. So that means Sri Krishna Travels will be exposing some APIs. APIs means they will provide the data to Redbus or Abibus or whatever the bus in the form of API. So that is what API nothing but, right? So this is Abibus. So in that way there can be multiple buses. So from Abibus I go and I request Hyderabad to Bangalore Sri Krishna Travels. Then yes, request goes to Sri Krishna APIs, and this request will be sent to backend, and backend will process. It will generate a database query. Okay, bus name Sri Krishna Travels from Hyderabad to Bangalore. So it will send a query, and that query will be processed by database, and database will respond the data back, how many buses are available, what time it starts, what time, all that info will be given to the backend by database. So backend will process that request, and it will send the data to Sri Krishna APIs, and that Sri Krishna API will send it to Abibus or maybe Redbus or their own website. It can be anything, right? So that means overall from this, what is that we are trying to understand is APIs are nothing but it's an interface. So this is a interface. Okay, this interface acts as a mediator, okay, which will talk to different applications. So Abibus is one application, Redbus is one application, Sri Krishna website is another application. So these are different applications, right? So this API will talk to any of these applications, and it will take the data, or it will process the data, and it will send the data. Okay, so that is what the meaning of API, right? So API, it's nothing but a set of definitions. So Sri Krishna API, what it will do, it will take the request, it will send it to backend, and from the backend it will take the data back, and it will send it to whoever the request is, right? So it's nothing but set of definitions and protocols for building and integrating applications. So we are trying to integrate multiple applications. Why should we integrate? Yes, Redbus also wants to add Sri Krishna Travels buses into their site. Abibus also wants, Paytm also wants, and their own website also wants. So what they are trying to do, they have something called APIs. So that APIs will send the data, and it will also, so through this data we will understand. Okay, see, if we go to the website, okay, we know that Sri Krishna Tours and Travels, this is a AC sleeper 2+1. Okay, start time is this one, end time is morning 7 a.m. So starting place is Gachibowli in Hyderabad, ending place is Marthal in Bangalore. Okay, so fare is 2000. 5 seats are available. Out of 5, 2 window seats are available. So this complete info will be given by Sri Krishna Tours and Travels. Okay, so how? So the data completely stored in database, and that data it is sending to us, and that data sent to us by Sri Krishna APIs to either Abibus or Redbus or whatever it is. This is what the meaning of API. Okay, so let me write the definition of API. Okay, so API, right, stands for application programming interface. So it acts as an interface, right, which is like a mediator that allows to talk between all the different applications as we just understood. Okay, so yes, and also let me write some simple definition. API is set of definitions and protocols. So I will explain you what is a protocol. Okay, so protocol is nothing but how does these different applications talks to each other. Okay, so there are different types, protocol types. Okay, so but these applications in APIs mostly talks through HTTP protocol. Okay, so that is what the protocol means. Okay, so we will discuss more in detail of what are the different protocols available, how those protocols, where those protocols are used, and all we will try to understand more in detail in upcoming sessions. But as of now, anybody has any questions about what is an API and how does the different applications communicate with each other?
Very
I
good
have one quick.
explanation, sir. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, there is another question as
Yeah,
well.
I have a question. So, in order to use API
Mhm.
to between two applications, both applications should have an API to connect to.
Yes, obviously. So, I mean, see, this API will expose the data, and all of these Redbus, Abibus, all of these are like consumers. So they will take the data and they will also send some another data. Let's say from Abibus or Redbus, I wanted to book a ticket. Right. So what we will do as a end user, we will go and pick a bus, we will pick a ticket, or we will pick one particular seat, whatever we like, window seat or whatever the other seat. Right. So we will click on submit. So that request again goes to Sri Krishna APIs, and that will be sent to backend. So backend will confirm the ticket booking after the payment. Yes. So to answer your question, yes, all the other vendors also should be having a capability to read the API data and also to process and send some other data. Okay. So far clear?
Yeah, yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay. Okay. All right. So now we understood what is API. And now let's try to understand why should we do API testing. So our main goal, our major goal is API test. So we understood what is an API and we know what is a testing. So before testing an application, if you release it to the market, so we will end up with a lot of defects. Okay, so then there will be a problem. So there will be a big loss to the companies or owners or whatever the owner of the applications and all, right? So that's the reason quality or testing plays a major role in the market. So without testing, we will not release at all. So whether it is a functional testing, right, or it can be any other types of testing. Okay, so definitely we wanted to make sure we do the testing even at API level also. Okay, so now let's understand why should we do API testing. Okay, so if you do API testing, what is that we are going to achieve? Okay, so coming back to the diagram, let's say, so C Krishna, developers, they developed some APIs. So they are sending the data to Redbus. Let's assume we got this data. Okay, so they say like 5 seats are available. Just assume their application is wrong. That means they haven't tested properly. Instead of 5 seats, there are only 2 seats or 1 seat is available. But the API is sending 5 seats available. So what happens? So customer will try to book a ticket and application will not respond properly. So there will be a problem. So customer will go from Redbus to maybe Abibus or maybe another bus. Right. So that means if customer book a ticket in Redbus, so obviously Redbus will be getting some margin. So they'll be get benefited. In that way, if there is some issue, right, maybe in Redbus or maybe in the Sri Krishna Travel API, so then there is a problem. So definitely they have to test and make sure that the data sending from, okay, in database it's only 2 tickets available. But when it comes to Redbus, there are 5 tickets available. So it's a problem, right? So that problem as a API developers or as a API testers, we should find out. So we have to find out such kind of issues in the early stages of API development and we have to fix it. So if you send wrong data, obviously Redbus or maybe Abibus or, because we have a problem in the backend of Sri Krishna. So Sri Krishna developers, whoever developing Sri Krishna backend application, they have to fix it. Okay, so that's the reason testing API is also very important and key. Nowadays in the market, API testing is playing a major role, key role in the API testing. Okay, so we find out those kind of issues in the early stages so that we will send the correct info either to the website of Sri Krishna or Redbus or Abibus or maybe Paytm or another vendor also. Okay, so important API testing is very important. How do we test? So we don't know. So diagrammatically we understood, okay, data comes from database to backend and backend gives to API and this APIs will send same data or updated data, recent data to Sri Krishna website or Redbus or Abibus. But how the data will be sent from one application to another application? That part we have to know, understand. Okay, so without software, let's say guys, I wanted to send a post. I know I think everybody of you know, previous days we don't have any mobiles, no telephone. Before telephone also we used to write a letter. Right, we put it in the post box. So that will be taken by postman and that will be traveled from one place to another place and then another postman will be delivering to their address. So that means a post will be traveled through the road or some means and it will be going to the destination. But here, let's say source is, let's say destination is Redbus, source is the database. So from their database, by query, database query, this backend will take the data and it will process and it will send the data to Redbus browser. See, I just opened Redbus. See, this is the Redbus browser, right? So I've opened Redbus in the browser, or it can be mobile also. The client can be the browser, or it can be mobile. So the data will be sent from APIs to this Redbus through something called as JSON. So data will be sent in the form of JSON. Okay, so what is that JSON? How the data will be sent? I will explain in some time. So data will be transferred. So data will be in the JSON and that JSON will be cached by Redbus. Okay, and they will display the data into this Redbus UI. See, red bus UI means browser. So browser shows the name of the bus, AC, start time, end time, fare, how many seats available. Let's say if I try to click on view seats, right? So I should be able to see the seats also, right? So which seats are already available, which are female allocated seat, which are male allocated seats. Okay, so what are unavailable, what are available. So that complete data, we are getting it from the Sri Krishna. And that data will be populated on the UI by Redbus application. See, female red means already completed. So this is grayed out means unavailable. Okay, whatever it is blank, right? So this is available. Right. So if you look at upper deck, see here, there are available seats here. This complete data will be getting to Redbus in the form of JSON, and that JSON will be populating the data over here. Okay, so let me try, guys. So what I will do is, there is one small trick where we can see how the data comes from backend to front end. Front end means UI. So right click on the browser, click on inspect option. So once we click on inspect option, you can see this is HTML. Don't worry about it. Go to network. Okay, so once we go to network, let me go and click on view seats. See, once I click on view seats, what happens? There are a lot of requests came actually. So let me pick or click any one of them. I'm not sure whether we can see the data here, but let me try to check it. So there are some requests and we got the response as well. Yep, correct. So if you look at here, guys, so let me go here. See, this is the URL, request URL. That means, what is this request URL means? Whenever I hit Redbus, for example, let me go here, new browser. So I'm just saying redbus.in. See, I'm just typing redbus.in here, guys. So I'm hitting enter. So whenever I hit enter, request goes to server. What is server? Right? So this Redbus will be application running in one of the computer. Right? So that computer will get the request, and this request will be processed by the server and it will send me the response. So I got the response, and that response will be in the form of JSON, and that response is taken and displaying on top of the UI. This is the browser, right? So to make it better, let me draw the new diagram here. This is very important and basic. Second. Okay. So what did we do? We just opened the browser, right? So just assume this is our browser. So I just opened the browser. On the browser, I just write www.redbus.in. So I send the request, and this request will be taken by the server. So this is the Redbus server. This is Redbus server. So this request goes to server. Okay, this is the request. Request will be going to the server, and server will be responding back to the request. Okay, so this is response, right? So let's say if somebody requests me something, I should obviously respond to them, right? In the same way, whenever I say redbus.in, so request goes to server, server will process my request and it will respond back to me. So request is nothing but the home screen, main screen, right? So now again, what I will do, I'll just search from Hyderabad to Bangalore, right? So I just given Hyderabad, Bangalore, date, and I'll click on search buses. So before I click on, let me inspect this page, guys. Let me go to network so that I can see the request. Click on search bus. So once I click on search bus, what happens? A request went and I got the response, and I'm able to see on the UI there are a lot of bus details are being shown here. Okay, so whatever we see on the UI, we can also see here in the form of request response. See, this is the request I sent. Okay, and I got the response. So response is HTML with a lot of data is also there. That's okay, we'll come back. So we can see. So while sending the request, I'm telling from city, Hyderabad. Okay, so city ID, to city, Bangalore. So there are a lot of parameters. Okay, what is the start date? So date also we are sending. So whatever I select on the UI, everything is sending to the request. How? So we are sending the request with different parameters. Okay, from, to, start date, all the data we are sending. So server will process the data and it will send back the information. Okay, so that information probably we can see in some of the requests. So probably on UI we see there are a lot. Okay, so some of the APIs they will be hiding. So let me do one thing. Yeah, I'll do one thing. So I will try to select any of the view, right? Let me, Sri Krishna. Okay, so here we see VSR Tours and Travels. Let's say if I click on view seats. So I click on view seats. So once I click on view seats, what happens again? Request went and I got the response. And response, okay, diagrammatically they are showing on the browser. Okay, so same thing probably we should be able to also see over here. What is this? It. I just saw this right. Yeah. So for other bus, I see, right? See, we send the request and we get the response. See, whenever we look at the response, this complete response is in the form of JSON, right? See, this is a very big JSON, right? So let me copy this complete JSON. Okay, whatever we see here, we can also see it on the UI. Okay, so to view this JSON, what we can do, we can view something JSON formatter. So just search for JSON formatter, open the first link. Sorry, not this. JSON viewer. You can search for JSON viewer. So whatever the JSON you have, you can view it in the better way. So I paste that complete JSON. So if I go to view, right, I'm able to see this is the data that I'm getting it from the Sri Krishna Travels. See guys, there are a lot of data points available here. Okay, so if you see, they will be using a lot of data, but as an end user, we really don't need all of them. But at least some of the data, or most of the data, it is required. Bus type, AC, sleeper 2+1. Okay, departure time, date of journey. See today, right? The same way from city Hyderabad, city has one ID 124. Okay, so in the same way, we can see two city Bangalore, right? So Bangalore city ID is 122. Travels name Sri Krishna Travels. Right. So this complete info, currency, whether it is in Indian rupees or it can be US dollars or it can be anything else. So this complete data from where we are getting? We are getting it from the Sri Krishna Travels APIs. So this data they are getting it and they are populating. So who is populating this data? So this data is being populated by Redbus people. right? So we can see something, right? Name Jdmetla. So Jdmetla is one of the bus stop. So address beside bus stop, contact phone number, okay, landmark where they are going to start the bus in Jdmetla of Hyderabad. So there are a lot of details that this Rekrishna Travels is providing to Redbus. So Redbus will be populating on the UI, on the browser application. So they're sending the data. Redbus is receiving the data, and that data is being populated or being shown on the Redbus application. So what we will do, we will make sure that we send the request, we get the response. In the response, the data is correct or not. Okay, that is what we are going to test as part of API. Because if the data itself, whatever we are getting is wrong, then what is the point of showing it? So initially we get the data, that data we will take it, we will validate it. So if the data is correct, then yes, we will tell, okay, API's data is correct. So you can go ahead and integrate with to the UI, right? It can be a browser or it can be a mobile app, whatever it is. So API testing plays a major role in our testing, so that if you do API testing, you can catch these data issues, bugs early of your software development lifecycle. Let's say if you are not doing API testing, what happens? We will see all these data issues on the UI, so we will end up with lot many bugs. So it's always better to do the early testing at API level, at UI level, or at database level, or whatever the levels, so that you can improve the quality of your product, of your application. So that is what the meaning, or what is that we are exactly going to do as part of API testing. And how we test, we will discuss in detail. Okay, is this clear, guys? So far, anybody has any questions, confusions? Can we move on to next topic in this?
Yes,
I have
sir.
one
Clear, sir.
question.
Yes, please go ahead.
So actually, my background is not application. So I
Mhm.
wanted to understand, for API testing, do I need to be a programmer?
Yes, obviously, like Java is the skill that you should know, because this API testing we are going to automate it. So manually means no any knowledge required. I will be explaining you the completely. But for automation, basic Java, which is core Java, is important. So you should know core Java to automate all these APIs, right? So because you get the response, right? So this response you will be getting. So every time, see, we'll be getting lots of data like this. You cannot go to each and every node and check this data is correct or not. Manually, it's not possible, right? It is possible, but it will take very longer time. So we wanted to automate it. So to automate it, Java programming, basic Java is very important. Okay.
All right.
So there is another question as well. No more questions.
Can we use here instead of Java Python?
Yeah, for Python, we will be using different libraries. See, as of now, we are working with Rest Assured, which is a Java library. So we should know Java. For yes, with Python also you can automate APIs, but that is with the different libraries.
Sir, this webinar is based on Java only.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. So if no other questions, we'll go ahead with the next topic. So we will understand high level at what are the different types of APIs we have. Okay, so there are four different types. Okay, so the first one is open APIs. Open APIs. Okay, second one is internal APIs. Okay, third one is partner APIs. Partner APIs, and then the fourth one is composite. Composite APIs. So these are the different types of APIs we have. Let's understand each and every one API. So the name itself says the first one is open API. What is first open API? Means it's open to everybody. So does everybody use Facebook? Yes, no?
Yeah, yes.
Yes, most of us, right? So everybody use API. So Facebook has some APIs where they will integrate, they will give to other applications where the people can log in with Facebook ID also or Google ID also. So something like that. So those are like open APIs, right? So where they are publicly available to developers or maybe other users with some minimal restrictions. Okay, so few people are some companies tells that okay, we are on Facebook because they wanted to improve their brand through Facebook, so they will have a Facebook ID, Facebook page, so people can log in through the Facebook accounts. Okay, in the same way, internal APIs, right? Internal APIs means it's completely private. Let's say for my own company or my own product, I'm developing APIs. That is completely for me, myself. I don't wanted to, give them those APIs to any other companies or any other people. It's completely internal or specific to one particular company. Okay, so that's about internal API. Partner API. So what is partner API? So these are usually designed for internal use within an organization. For example, in-house HR or security or data transfer. So such kind of things, partner APIs will be used by the people usually. Okay. So next one, right? For example, let's say we wanted to integrate our products. Let's say our application is online e-commerce application. You are selling some products. Okay, to sell the products, okay, so people should pay the amount money, right? So that payment can be done through payment gateway softwares, payment gateway APIs. So there are a lot of payment gateway APIs, right? We have PayPal, Paytm, or there are a lot of things out there. So with any of those APIs, you can do the payment. Okay, so like some companies will be partnering with the another companies. Okay, so that those guys will be helping to us in terms of payment. So that's what we call it as partner APIs. Okay, so then the next one is composite APIs. What is composite APIs? It's a combination of multiple API services, right? For example, whenever I place an order in some application, so order placement goes to one application, and some other activities will be parallelly placed to the another application. So that means different API calls will be invoked at the same times. That is what we call it as composite APIs. Okay, so but whatever the APIs, right, the way of automating or the way of calling will be the same standard, same approach. So we will be looking into that in detail. Okay, so but for now, today, what we will do is we will try to understand how do we hit any API. Okay, how do we verify that API is working or not? Some basic thing we will try to understand, and then we will continue with how do we automate and all of those things. Okay, so to test the API, we have some client called Postman. Okay, Postman. So anybody knows about this Postman? Anybody knows what is Postman?
It's a tool through that we can send some requests.
Right, we can send some request, correct? Okay, so other than the tool, in general, what does a Postman does? What does Postman does usually? Come on, what does the Postman does usually, right? So postman is a person, right? He's a mediator kind of thing. So who will take our post or our letters and he will be delivering to us, or he will be taking from us to the another village or town or another place. He will be taking it and delivering. So same way, we have a tool called Postman. So we can download and we can use it to test our APIs. Okay, to test our APIs, we can use the tool called Postman. Okay, so I will be showing you the Postman tool. See, this is the Postman tool, how it looks like. Okay, so what I will do is, in this Postman, I will show you a simple request. Okay, so this request I will be sending and I will be getting the data. Okay, so while sending the request, I need some basic info or details. Okay, so whenever you send a letter, right? Whenever you send a letter, what we will do? We will tell like to, from, and we will close a letter, and inside that we have a body, right? So body contains a lot of text, right? Let's say I wanted to convey something, all that info I'll be mentioning in the inside my letter, right? So these are the basic details that we will write it in the post letter, right? Is that correct or not? Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Okay, so same way, in this postman tool, I have to tell to. To means to whom I am sending the letter, right? To whom I am sending the letter. And body, what is the content that I have to send. So sometimes if you remember, right, for some type of post, you will get the confirmation back that, okay, yes, the other people has received your post, right? So such kind of confirmation you will be getting. So same way in our postman tool, okay, I am sending a request. So to send the request, as I said, we are going to use a protocol called HTTP, right? So HTTP or HTTPS. So these are the protocols that we will be using, right? So as part of that, I'm just telling HTTPS is the protocol. That means you send my post through this HTTPS, and restful-booker dot app.com. This is the domain where this particular application is running. So to this domain, go /booking is the endpoint. Endpoint means I can do multiple action. Out of those multiple action, I wanted to do the booking. So for that, /booking is my endpoint. Okay, so that's what we are trying to do. So this is the address kind of thing. So to address. Okay, along with the to address. So in Postman, we have a session called headers. Okay, so in this headers, there are a lot of headers are available, but we really no need to worry. All of those slowly we will try to come back. Okay, so but as of now, just remember the type of post we are sending is get, and the address is this one. Okay, just click on send button here. So we have to write this. So let me create a new one. So by default, it will be get. So even though if it is not get, you click on this arrow mark, select the get option and paste this URL. So after you pasting the URL in this URL field, click on send button. So once we click on send, all right, so we send the request, we get the response, and this is the response. So what does this app does is, it has lot of bookings available. All that booking IDs, it will reply back to us. It will send back to us. See, there are a lot of bookings, and every booking has some unique ID. That ID is returned to us by this website, right? restful-booker.com So we sent a request, we got the response, and that response is being shown to here to us in the form of JSON. This is the JSON. So data will be in the form of JSON. See, the JSON structure will be something like open curly brace, and the data will be in double quotes and close curly brace. So this is the structure which we maintain. And here something you see, status code is 200. What is the meaning of 200? 200 means you send a request and request has been received by the server and server responded back to us with some data. So it is telling 200. 200 means successful. So if our request is being successfully processed, then it will tell status 200. Okay, how much time it has taken to process my request is 1342 milliseconds. And how much data it is sending is 47.59 kilobytes of data. So this data we got it from where? From the response, from this server response, right? As I was mentioning, I sent a request, so server responded back to me, and the response that I got is this JSON. So usually this JSON will be taken and will be populated on the UI, like however Redbus is getting populated. Now coming to the testing part, as a manual testing of API, what we do? We select what type of protocol, what type of method. So that method we select. See, there are different types of methods available, guys. Get, post, delete, patch and all. So we'll come back to that slowly. So as of now, to understand, to make you guys understand at high level, so I'm just picking get method. Okay, so this is the URL and click on send. Once we click on send, see it is telling sending request. So it was very fast. Request sent, we got the response. And that response postman is populating over here because it's a JSON. And also it is telling 200. Okay. So coming to validation. Okay, manually, just assume, forget about automation, at least for manually. What are we going to test manually? So we are going to test manually that status code is 200 or not. Check one, first check. Then data is in this particular format or not. And data, am I getting all these IDs are? So there are lot many IDs available. So, but I have to make sure that I get all the data. See, total 3,497 bookings are available in this website. And every booking has one unique ID, and that ID is being returned over here. Okay, so I can first checkpoint is status code 200 or not? Yes, it's 200. Okay, right. And I'm getting the data, and structure is also correct. So 2-3 different validations we do, but this is very simple API. Okay, let me do some mistakes. So instead of booking, I'll make it booking by some junk string I have given. So if I click on send, what happened? It is telling 404 not found. 404 means whatever the endpoint that we have given is not correct. As it is not correct, it is not returning anything. It's returning 404 not found. Right? So if you go to headers, right, you can see the data, whatever we got, we get. Okay. So different headers that we are getting it from the response. Right? So that is about how do we send the request, how do we get the response, all these details we are able to see. See, we are able to go to body, headers, cookies. So this is the test result. So test result, nothing. So because it's 404, that means this is not a valid request. You are requesting for invalid resource. If the resource is available, then it will return you the data from the resource. But you are trying to find the resource which is not available. So it will return 404. So that's a, see, the status code might be different, guys. It's not always 200. If it is successfully process your data, then it returns 200. Else it will return 404. If your request is wrong. Okay. So there are different things. So our first validation. So let me revert this to just booking. Okay. So click on send. So first validation is status code 200. Second validation is data. Third validation is whether the data is in the structure or not. So 2-3 different test cases that we can do, right? So let me write test 1, validate status code. Okay, this is a status code. Status code is 200. Yes, we are pretty sure that 200. If it is not 200, we fail it and we will tell developers that, hey, it's not returning 200. So test 2, validate the data. Okay, test 3, validate the structure of response. So for this simple thing, for this simple REST endpoint, for the simple API, so we are trying to validate these 3 things. So, but always this, it will not be this simple, guys. So we'll be having a lot of complex JSONs where data will be stored in different hierarchical way. So how do we get the data? How do we retrieve the data? How do we validate the data? All that part we will slowly understand it. Okay, so with this we understood how do you send a request, how do you get the response, how do you validate the response, all these things you try to, we have understood. Okay, any questions guys from anybody on this? No questions? Okay, all right. So yeah, automating of these APIs we will look at in the later sessions. Okay, so but before we close on the session, let's try to understand how is the API testing market, right? As I said, API testing also plays a major role. So we have to make sure that we do the proper testing at API level so that we will reduce the number of defects at functionality level. So the quality of your product will obviously improve it and it will get more efficient business to the people, right? So that's one thing. So definitely there are, nowadays there are a lot of jobs only on API testing and also combination. So nowadays if you go to any job market, right, you see companies are not asking only Selenium or only functional testing. So they're asking a combination of functional testing with API testing. So if anybody of you are already working on functional testing, it's always recommended to learn API testing so that it will improve your resume weightage and get a good job and good salaries. Okay. All right. So with this, I'm going to stop for this today. Then we'll continue detailing programming, testing more in detail in the next sessions from tomorrow.